Hey folks, welcome to Drive Across Texas. I'm your host, Pat Waters, and today we're in Alvord, Texas at Marker Cellars Winery. I've got the owner here, Mr. Mark Rogers. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, sir, and you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for allowing us to come in here and invade your space and tell us about this exceptional business that you have.
Well, this is Marker Cellars Winery here in the middle of the LBJ Grasslands in Alvord, Texas. And this property is surrounded by national forest on three sides, bordered half mile by a quarter mile. And we have been here since 2007, enjoying this landscape and our coexistence with both the Forest Service and all the animals and critters that live out here. So it's been a really enjoyable experience.
I'm telling you, you've got a beautiful place here, and like folks, you got to see this. If you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city and come out to the country and get you a good glass of wine, maybe get you a hand-rolled cigar and sit out here and look at this beauty that the good Lord has put out here in Alvord, Texas, you need to come out here to Marker Cellars Winery. So I know the viewers I'm curious, I know the viewers are also curious, Mark. What got you involved in wanting to make wine?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story, I think. So I grew up in Midland, Texas. My dad was a geologist, and we traveled pretty much throughout the state. But I grew up as a flatlander. Then in 1985, a company approached me and asked me to help them rebuild their company and move to Los Angeles, California. So didn't make my in-laws real happy, but we packed up the family and moved to LA. Had a 2-year-old daughter at the time, so that part was a little traumatic, but LA was just a unique environment to me. I mean, it opened my eyes to so many things. And so every weekend, we would do something different. Go to a national park, go to a state park, go beach camping, or go visit the small mom and pop wineries that were, back then, the only ones that existed above Santa Barbara and the Santa Ynez Valley. Where we were living at the time, it was a short hour-and-a-half drive, so it wasn't that big a deal. But in the process of doing that, I got to know a gentleman by the name of Fess Parker. Fess Parker, as you may recall, was Daniel Boone on ABC television way back in the day, and he and his grandson operated Fess Parker Winery there in the Santa Ynez Valley. There wasn't one question that I ever asked that they didn't delve into, give me detail. There wasn't never a stupid question, and we just kind of gelled from that standpoint. So that got me started. That gave me a bug. I didn't know anything about wine at that point, and it really expanded my experience and palate. And flash forward to about 1995, and we moved back to Texas. Moved a bunch of folks from the company that I helped rebuild at that time. And when we bought our property in a little town called Argyle, south of Denton, my wife got 5 acres and I got a 1/4 acre. She had horses. And so we planted 125 vines in a test vineyard, mainly just to see if I could grow grapes. And 7 different varieties, and we started playing with it over time to make a blend, a small batch blend. And we refined that to where it grew to where I bought a ton of grapes and processed them myself, and that really set the stage for what I did in 2005. I went to Enology and Viticulture School up in Denison at Grayson County College. That totally blew my mind because it exposed me to things about history in Texas and the history of Texas wine that I had no knowledge of whatsoever. It was just really, really interesting. We bought this place in 2007 and then built it out a little bit at a time while I was still working full time. And then in 2012, we opened our tasting room. I opened the winery to the public. It was on weekends only back then. And then 4 years ago, I retired from my corporate life. And now we're open 4 days a week, Thursday through Sunday, and now I only work 7 days a week. So it's great.
Hey, that's great, man. At least you got a break. Retirement, you get to work 7 days a week.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, I can tell just by looking at your facility and looking at the surroundings and coming in and looking at your business, that it's definitely a labor of love for you.
Thank you.
You know, and you know, I'm one of those believers. Find something you're passionate about, you actually really never work a day in your life.
No, that's
But,
right.
I'm telling you, I appreciate the opportunity to come in here and talk to you. I thank you so much for your hospitality.
No, absolutely. Pleasure's
Folks-
ours.
Folks, like I said at the start of the interview, if you want to get out of the city, get away from the hustle and bustle, and get out in the country and relax with a great glass of wine, maybe a hand-rolled cigar, you need to come out, see Mark and his lovely wife at Marker's Cellars Winery here in Alvord, Texas. Y'all remember now, tell them that Drive Across Texas sent you, and this baby's coming from a Texan. Adios.
Drive across Texas.